was our colleague in Parliament.
So
actually, Appiah Kubi was my colleague at the university too. And then he did political science. I subsequently went to read law.
Okay. So this is someone you know well.
Very well. He was my SRC president.
Okay. Because he's said to be one of the reasonable voices in our politics. Is it surprising to hear him say this at the point where the judge is perhaps working on his final judgment on the case?
Well, Appiah Kubi has a very rational, reasonable, fearless, and bold. And so I'm not surprised that he said what he has said at the tail end of the trial. I'm not surprised. It could be as a result of fundamental differences between himself and his client.
But that is not what he said, Alhaji. He said, I pray the court is a court. That the court makes a decision on the evidence before them, not make a decision on the whims of someone outside the court. He then goes ahead to suggest that during the trial, it was like as if somebody was rushing the trial. So you'll be somewhere and they'll call him, oh, you can come at 2 p.m. You can do this. It was like as if the trial was being rushed. And those were the reasons for which he decided to perhaps withdraw from this particular case. But he said he's still representing the same client in the other cases he has before the courts.
Well, if Appiah Kubi has said that, because a lawyer doesn't conduct a case to the finish when the judge is writing his judgment, then you withdraw from the case. To all intents and purposes, you have finished conducting the case. So I thought that his decision would be motivated by a fundamental difference between him and his client, but not what happens between the bench and the bar. So, in fact, in relation to the conduct of the case, mind you, that court is the court of the judge. It's not the court of the lawyer. And so the judge programs how he wants to hear and conduct cases in his court. A lawyer appears before the judge in his court. And so you cannot determine how, as a lawyer, you cannot determine how the judge must conduct the case. You can suggest to the judge, and if he's minded to accept your plea, then so be it. If he rejects your plea, you have to conduct the case according to how the judge wants the case to be conducted. So it will be surprising to me if the reason why Andy Appiah Kubi, and I know him so well, I know he's bold, I know he's fearless, I know he speaks his mind, he's a free thinker, so I know him. But if this is the reason, then it's unfortunate.
Are you suggesting that that cannot be a ground for withdrawing from a case?
That cannot be. That cannot be.
That unless, I feel that...
Unless, of course, he's also looking at political capital.
Political capital?
But even if political capital, it will be miscalculated.
Explain that.
Well, so he has come to the end of the trial. The judge is writing his judgment, and he thinks that the judgment might go against his client on the evidence presented before the court.
Hello, Alhaji. Okay, we seem to have lost Alhaji on the line. Okay, so we'll try and get him back, conclude, and then bring our guests in studio for us to start a conversation on our assemblies. If you are listening to us and you have any issues with the assemblies and the way they perform, and you want me to raise it with Doc, please, you can send it. Feel free. Our local government structure for you, is it working the way you expect it to? Somebody was sending me a message this morning about an MC not doing thing. He's not helping solve any of their problems. So what do you feel about our local government system? Do you think, is it your view your interaction with them that they are doing what you expect them to. We'll try to address expectations as against the realistic mandate of these assemblies. We talk. Alhaji.
Yes, it's line drop.
Yes. You were talking about if he was seeking to gain political capital. You were making a comment
I was just
before.
saying that, on the burden of proof, if the evidence is really against the Wontumi'S, and then he doesn't want to appear to have lost the case, and then he can say, "Oh, I'm withdrawing from the case." Also to create an impression that the judge has not been fair, and how this fits into the political equation.
Are you also suggesting that he has nothing to withdraw from?
Yes, the case is completed.
The case is completed.
Completed. The judge is writing a judgment also.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, on that day, on the day of judgment, even if he had not withdrawn from the case but decided not to make himself available in court, the judge will go ahead and give his judgment.
Oh, really? So it's a little too late in the day to be screaming, "I'm withdrawing."
It's totally irrelevant to what the judge will do on the day that he wants to give his judgment.
But what? Okay. Because the judge is now writing his judgment. And if you say something like, "I pray that the court is a court, that the court makes a decision on evidence before them, not make a decision on the whims of someone outside the court." If I say these things about a court, I'll be invited.
Yeah, it's contemptuous of court.
So to you, these statements are contemptuous.
It's contemptuous, right? But because the fact is that he is concluded the case, and then he's withdrawn from the case. But it's contemptuous. I mean, the court is a court. You conducted your case, you completed your case, and then you are waiting for judgment, and you say that you pray that the court is a court. It's definitely a court.
How should this be treated? These comments of his.
No, I actually, when I didn't read in detail the reason why he said he had withdrawn. I thought that there was a fundamental difference in opinion between him and his client. And I read somewhere that his client was toying with the idea of plea bargain. So I thought that was but having given me further and better particulars about the reasons for his withdrawal, I think it's a little too late, and it amounts to nothing, absolutely nothing.
Okay, I think this is okay, typically, but on the basis of what you know, he says he's making an application on Monday on this is a motion to withdraw from this case.
I say the court might even say, well, it's too late for you to withdraw.
Okay.
Because the case is concluded. They have he has filed his written submission, or he's made submissions to the court. The prosecutor has made his submissions to the court. So the case is concluded. And the judge is writing his judgment based on the facts before him, on submissions made before him by the counsel, and everything that has come, the demeanor of the accused person, and the veracity of what he has said, and all those things. And he's going to assess all that and come to a conclusion, whether there is proof beyond reasonable doubt that the accused person has indeed committed a crime. And then you say you have withdrawn. For what?
Alhaji, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
As Alhaji Inusa Fuseini joining us on the line, he says there's nothing to withdraw from. Then if he's seeking to make political capital out of it, it's miscalculated. In fact, when he was complaining about saying come at 2 p.m. and everything, I was surprised because I was involved in, so I reported on the Sedina Tamaklo at Yonu case, portions of it. I was not there throughout. There are many other cases which I was there. I was the Woyome matter, the criminal part of the Woyome matter. I was there. So there's the Ato Foster matter. So there's also someone who is drawing my attention to the fact that, Sana, good morning. Do you remember the daily trial of Asin North MP, Honorable James Jechikwesin? So there's nothing really that is new that he's complaining about. So perhaps we would all wait to hear later what it is he will argue before the courts. So maybe we'll find a bed there. I think this is about Boachi. Boachi is the one who has been writing some things on Facebook. So maybe they are responding to Boachi. They will take on Boachi in court. In the meantime, the Ghana Revenue Authority wishes to remind all withholding tax agents, including VAT withholding agents appointed by the Commissioner General, that withholding taxes must be paid to the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the GRA by the 15th of every month. Withholding taxes of May 2026 will therefore be due by Monday 15th to June 2026. When you're talking about withholding taxes including withholdings on VAT deducted from suppliers operating the VAT standard rates, employment, payment for the supply of goods, payment for the supply of goods, payment for the supply of any works, payment for the supply of services, and all other withheld taxes for May 2026 are due by Monday 15th June 2026. They may also submit hard and soft copies of schedules indicating gross amount, the tax deducted, name or names of taxpayer or payers, and TIN or Ghana card PIN from whom the taxes were withheld. Please note that failure to pay tax by due date attracts an interest of 125% of the statutory rates, compounded monthly on outstanding tax. Kindly get in touch or in contact with us by email on info@gra.gov.